Jesus.
We are Billy Goat Tail. We love you, fam. Hashtag givers gang. 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 We are Billy Goat Tails. We are Billy Goat Tails.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Billy Goat Tales on this fine Sunday afternoon. We appreciate you coming in, hanging out with us here at Billy Goat Tales. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We've got all kinds of cool topics from BlackRock to what is Bitcoin going to do? Are we going to bounce? Or are we going to continue to go to zero? We don't know, but we will talk about it. We're going to be talking about the SEC. We're going to be talking about a little bit of off-topic news as well. And thanks to Mike Vollmer, we're going to be talking about how to get your old Matic off of your ledger and send it someplace where you can actually use that token. If for all those folks that do have some Matic left and you never converted it to Pol, we're going to be talking about that. But first, let's go around the horn and say hello to the team. What is going on, Jimmy Jim?
What's going on, Billy? Another beautiful Sunday. Weather's really nice in Texas today.
Yeah, man. Last week I was up in Cleveland. Now you want to talk about it was cold. I was not used to that. Snowing, blowing. Ooh, glad I came back south. But yeah, Texas is always good. Jimmy Jim, what's another Texan down there? Tex-Mex, Biomex. What's going on, Tony?
What's good? Just enjoying the day. We've got a lot of things on our docket for today. So we're going to go check to see if the crypto bear hug is here or if it's just a fake out nap. I can't wait to dig in today and then and look this. We had last week. What did we have? I don't know. We had a lot of stuff going on. So it was a busy week with Cryptobilly out. I think we survived it. I loved our what Billy called Simple Terms 2.0. I love the integration with our NFT host from Dave's channel last week. That was fun. It was a fun one-off. And so, anyways, I'm ready to go. Let's get into it.
Are you doing another Texan, Dave Digital?
What's going on, everybody? Just hanging out. Been trying to catch this upward movement on Bitcoin, but the problem is it hasn't had any upward movement. So we'll just have to see what's going on. Good to see everybody in the chat. Looking forward to the show.
And of course, our own Red Man. What's going on, Red Man?
Just thankful for another day not promised. Thank you for everybody in the chat for showing up and hitting the like button, subscribing. We appreciate you all.
And of course, across the pond, DDT joins us today. What's going on, DDT? Good to see you.
Evening, afternoon. Yeah, blessed. Another Sunday. Not looking good chart-wise, but we can go over that when we get to that section.
Yeah, man.
For the time being, but yeah, hope everyone's had a good weekend.
Yep. Let's say hello to chat, as a matter of fact, since we're talking about that chat. Dave, you want to say hi to everybody in chat?
Sure, let's take a look in the chat. Of course, we've got in the number one pole position, Jesse Luck. Good to see you, Jesse. We've got Mike Vollmer, who came in second. Mike, the Mod King Vollmer. We got Cryptobilly in the chat. Infinite Team TA. Good to see you, Infinite Team TA. Johnny December coming to us from Belize. Where is that over there? Belize? I think so.
Belize,
Curtis Hill
Navidad.
in the chat. Belize, Navidad. Oh, I wish I would have had that ready, Billy. Squirrel Shine Bob getting it rowdy in the chat. Darren does things in the chat and on stage with us. Jimbo Fat is in the chat. Hey, Diggity, good to see you. So he's saying happy Sunday, crypto fam. Curtis Hill and All Set is in the chat. Rusty Bot is in the chat. I think that pretty much covers everybody that I see so far. If I missed you, say hi so we can definitely tell you hi back.
And Billy, I did rename one of them is Mobile View, and then one is so that we have a different the ability for people to know which stream they're jumping into.
Yeah,
Do
just
you want to explain that a little bit, Tony, what you're talking about?
Sure. So StreamYard, the software we use, allowed us to, we set up one stream, but it's pushing out a wide screen and a traditional and a mobile view screen. So if you want to look on it vertically on your mobile view, there's one that's titled mobile view after the title, and the other one's widescreen. So choose the style you want to see us in.
yeah, and that's all something that is done by StreamYard, and so it was new when we set up the stream, so we didn't even know that was coming as well. So yeah, one of those deals. All right. Well, it's this time where we're going to get right into the crypto bubbles. Red, you ready for the bubbles?
Let's go. All right, guys. Let me get out of the screen here. You don't want to see me. You'd rather see the bubbles. All right, there we go. So on the hourly for today, Sunday, we got a bunch of red in the market today. A couple of things up. Telcoin, going to talk a little bit about that today later on. Having a nice little run after some very bullish news. Quant's green today, 0.7%. But let's talk about the losers here. Stark on the hourly is down 2.8%. Stark down 2 spots, number 72, $987 million market cap. One Stark gets you 21 cents for one Stark there. We got soon. There might be a short coming out on soon. We'll see what happens. Anyways, stay tuned and keep turning into the Billy Goat channel. You'll get the alpha from us. Soon is down 4%. It's sitting at $552 million market cap. $1.96 gets you one Soon token. We got Arrow. Everybody saying Arrow about to rip. Arrow's about to rip. Arrow's about to rip. It's ripping down. Arrow's ripping down 1.3%. It is sitting at 83, $725 million market cap. Doesn't mean it's going to stay here. Totally bullish project. We love Arrow. Aster down 2.9%. It's sitting at rank number 40, $2.43 billion market cap. $1.20 gets you one Aster. This is a new one. Put out a short about this last week. Go ahead and check it out on the Billy Goat Tales YouTube channel. It is Canton Network. It's sitting at number 29, $3.89 billion market cap. Where did this coin come from? RDA play, institutional play. You guys check out the video. There's more info on that. Let's get on to the daily. The daily, bunch more red. So we're still trying to recover, right? Aster is still up for the daily, 7.1%. Dash, Dave came out with the video. What was it, last week, Dave? I think it was last week or week before. On Dash. Dash is up 5 spots, number 67, $1.06 billion market cap. $84.69 gets you one Dash. Let's move on. Anything else notable in the daily? Nope, just a sea of red. Let's get on to the weekly. Okay, so like I was saying before, Telcoin came out with that bullish news. Look at the pump off the bullish news. Nice little consolidation back into a pump. It's up 59 spots. Number 98 finally cracked the top 100. Let's see here. AB. I was looking at this coin a little bit before the show. I don't really know what it is, and I'm sorry for my ignorance, but it's up 25.3% for the week. It's up 17,000% for the year. Come to find out, this is a Binance coin. So be careful with that one, guys. It's up 25 spots at 90. 17. Yeah, 17,000%, Billy. So if you put $1 in this coin at the beginning of the year, you'd have $17,000 right now in this coin. So yeah, I don't know. It's Binance. Take what you will with that one. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Zcash is up 6%
I think you'd have
for the
$1,700, right?
Yeah, $1,700. Yeah, $1,700. Sorry about that. 17,000 would be nice though. But yeah, Zcash up 2 spots to number 11, $11.02 billion market cap for Zcash. Still on a tear, still doing very bullish things over there at Zcash. We got World Liberty Financial. It's up 8.5% for the week. It's up 3 spots, number 31, $3.77 billion market cap. The Trump DeFi is doing pretty good. Let's go on to the monthly. For the monthly, there's our Soon token again. It's up 140% for the monthly. AVAX down 58% for the year. AVAX, man,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And then on the monthly, Solana down 25%, and Solana's down 37.3% for the year. I wonder why that is. Aave down 17% for the month. Virtual is up 43% for the month. Huh. That's very interesting. Up 29.
Why. Muhammad knows why.
Up 29 spots to number 86, $702 million market cap, $1.07. Very interesting prices, Billy. I'll send it back over to you.
Yeah, man. I'm getting some feedback. I don't know if it's on my end or it sounds like a little ruffling.
Here.
You hearing that? Okay. All right. Good job. Good job, Red Man. Yeah, lots of red. Oh, hodl bags are beat up from the feet up for everybody, including mine. That's for sure. But let's take a look at the broader marketplace. Let's look at fear and greed. Let's look at market cap. Tony, you ready to hit that?
What's going on, fam? So we've got a 3.17 trillion market cap. Feeling a little bit chilly today. Hope you got that stew prepared. So the total market cap obviously has slid down to 3.17, a noticeable pullback that has everyone eyeing exits. You know, there's been a lot of tech dips, not just in crypto, but a lot of tech dips, and sometimes, you know, the Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies seem to be viewed maybe potentially as like a tech, you know, B level or entry level, you know, asset. So we're kicking off the vibe checks there. Let's go down to the fear and greed. So let me show that. There we go. The fear and greed. And we got 18. The fear and greed is down at 18. What else we got? Sorry. Lost my place. Fear and greed wallowing at 18. Extreme fear. Almost yesterday we had 16. And last week we're at 24. So we have a lot going on. Not everybody's fine. Nobody's hiding under the covers. And then we have the big cap snapshot like we talked about. And then let's go to the altcoins. The altcoins season index. We're down at 31. Last week we were at 32. Yesterday at 31. So I think altcoins have come up and down just like bitty Bitcoin. Also playing second fiddle to Bitcoin dominance. And with that pro tip, let's see. With fear, this frosty one wrong tweet could have you fumbling your shorts in a panic sell. Hope you have backups that aren't leveraged, or you're going to be explaining the dip to the portfolio. Over to your food.
Very nice. Well, you know what that means. We're down in the teens. It's time to buy. It's time to buy for me. Not a financial advice, but Cryptobilly buys Bitcoin when you're in the teens, period. Just can't. It's never, ever went wrong for me, ever. So it's one thing it's hard to find in the crypto space that really works every single time. And for me, that's worked every single time. So I got to buy. Unfortunately, espionage.
What the heck?
You guys are taking pictures, man. They're trying to.
I'm not. Is Billy? Oh, it's Dave, probably.
It's Dave.
It's okay.
It's Dave.
And
so did you notice, Familia, did you notice that we had very few noise interruptions last week? I think Dave had his hands full. I love the show the way we did it, but I think Dave had his hands full. Now he's got a little bit of free time to.
Well, that's the key.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him
Foot in mouth.
All right. So let's bring up DDT since we're talking about fear and greed. We're talking about the prices with Red Man. DDT, tell us what's going on with Bitcoin.
So, sorry, my chart will be on the back screen. You just need to bring it up. Cool. Just quickly giving a very basic overview of market structure. So weekly, since we've made the low of the week of the 25th of August, the weekly initially to kind of move structure into an almost bearish structure was 1073. Last week was the first weekly close below that. So the next weekly low to actually fully change weekly structure bearish for Bitcoin has now moved down, and that was at 98,182, and we are probably not going to get a close above that. So alarm bells for now. Two other things that are being mentioned across crypto Twitter or anyone that follows TA. We're below the 50-week EMA on Bitcoin. And then also as well, for those who watch Piper Academy or Luna Beach's crypto, they always look at the 52-week SMA. So closing below that as well, which generally has signaled kind of start of the bear. I think that may be the case, but also as well, I think as an asset class, yes, price structure suggests we might go lower. But I think as an asset class, as Bitcoin has matured, I'm of the opinion currently that the bear markets won't be as severe as what they previously have been. So kind of what my thought is obviously to start looking to scale in to some spot positions again, or add to my spot allocations. Obviously not financial advice, but not doing that currently. On the weekly, not looking good. We have now flipped structure bearish on the weekly. And then something that everyone else is also talking about on crypto Twitter, TA analysts, death cross for the EMAs. So the daily 50 EMA and the daily 200 EMA are about to cross. This should be next week. So it obviously be, if this is going to move down now, it will be after the daily close. So within the next day or two, we should get the death cross. But also as well, generally, death crosses, although we avoided one here, they generally suggest bottoms rather than tops. And obviously it's post the move. So the EMAs are very lagging. So also bear that in mind. It's not the be all and end all to say that it's over just because we're getting a death cross. Right. A quick top down from the weekly on market Cypher B and a few other things. So for now, the weekly money flow on market Cypher B, rounding over and coming down. The issue here is also as well 6-day coming out money flow. 5 days crossed red on the current 5-day candle, 4-day, rolling over. 3-day crossed red recently this week, or just has kind of the last two candles, which is also not good. 2-day, generally these suggest that you are going into a bear trend. So specifically like 2-day, 3-day, when we move down from like 90s into the 70s, the last time kind of from November to April or February last year, when we had this small little drop here, when the 2-day flipped over and went red, then that was obviously went down, obviously consolidation. And then we were kind of waiting for the daily, I think the daily money flow to flip back red. And then obviously we got the eat up. So kind of concern now, bearish trends. Also as well, the order books are very thin, which is also not giving me all that much hope that the bounces are going to be all that kind of joyous, if you call it that. But for what it's worth now, generally when the kind of these death crosses or kind of these EMAs have crossed, you would usually get a kind of a dead cat bounce into the EMAs, but that can also take some time. So what can happen is obviously these will move and trend down, and then you'll get a move into them. I doubt it's going to be anywhere here at 107. At this point, the kind of the zone for me that we will probably get a push back into. If you're looking at top, we are probably looking around either 107 and move back up into 107, which will be kind of this value area high here, or value area low 108, kind of that zone. Or the next one that we'll probably look at is just a straight back kind of pull on the 2-day or daily from the high at like 107 down, and you probably get back to like 102, 103. So those are the zones for now. Generally, kind of local price action. If we're just looking at kind of the volume profiles that I'm looking at the moment, we have this volume profile here, which obviously we've just sliced and diced. We came in, we dropped below 108, we come down, we literally back tested it, although we went to 107, 107.5, and then obviously have come down, flipped this macro POC now, and we're now below it, and we've had 2 daily candles. We had now 2 daily candles below it after slicing it on Friday. So kind of, yeah, volume profile trading looks as if we are kind of heading towards 90.5 to 91,000. With that in mind as well, if we do kind of just flip back a bit up, a lot of people are looking here between this 85 to 88K range. So somewhere in this zone, just below. So kind of towards the 786 is probably kind of the danger, the real danger Will Robinson level for me. But kind of I'm a trader. I make money with price goes up and down, and I do have spot bags. So yeah, we just trade it as if we get it. The thing for me now as well, kind of just to kind of harp on about it, is just with all the data that's not been coming out for the Fed. There is some speculation that they may not cut, although that's like although the odds on that CME Fed Watch tool have come down. I'm still of the view that they still do cut just because of the general state of the economy and kind of the labor market. So we should be close, give or take, to a local bottom somewhere here within the next few $1,000s. So kind of, I'm just being optimistic at this point. We are almost forming a 4-hour bullish divergence here, although the money flows against you, and that's the only thing kind of with the strategies that I use specifically, kind of the money flow guides the trend. Money flows red basically all over the place. So where am I looking for now? Yeah, just 91,000 give or take. If that slips, kind of 85 to 88,000. Bar that, yeah, that's basically Bitcoin. But for kind of a bullish recovery here,
Don't ask me, DDT. It's got to be your buddy Dave Digital.
it's got to get back above 94 and a half. Yeah, rip. So yeah, kind of for me now, we need to break structure at least on the 1 hour and get back above 94 and a half kind of thousand, kind of for it to then form an uptrend. So that's kind of depending where the low comes in, right? So obviously these lows will always pivot down. So we just got to, yeah, this is kind of based on current price action. 94 is kind of the 94 to 94 and a half is kind of the level we need to get back above to at least see 96 or see the POC again. And also as well, price action is never just a straight down. So play it level to level, and kind of just by even local candle structure here, you can see it's kind of getting a little bit absorbed. So obviously took some stop losses out of some longs. But yeah, it's just struggling locally. 15-minute green dots looking to print. And yeah, it's not looking good for the time being. For those that are looking for longs, it's short longs and short longs, long shorts, basically for the time being until market structure changes. So market structure is the guide for now, and obviously money flow being red is the guide for now. That is going to kind of suggest that there's still lower price action or low prices to come.
I think we can pause the music till later.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Bitcoin.
Taps. It was that specifically was requested from DT. He wanted to hear taps.
Okay. We're here to
So
see.
yeah, looking at ETH, we probably do look at ETH on the here as well. I do not know. Well, we probably just have to look at the ETH. So same thing with ETH. Also not looking good, bruv. Same thing, top down, weekly. Broken through the weekly 50 EMA, 200 EMA is just below it. If we are looking at the 52-week SMA on ETH, also now just sliced through it. So first weekly close below it, also not good. So obviously the recovery of that level is obviously going to be key. So 31.50 needs to go back above. It could also as well, if where it last week went into it, if it kind of can swing failure pattern or get bullish buy up here, that would be good. And then obviously on the daily, I think ETH might have already had the death cross from what I can do. We have? No. So ETH's a little bit further off from the death cross than Bitcoin at this point. Somehow, funnily enough, I would have thought that with the alts kind of in the state that they were in, that it probably would probably be closer to death cross than Bitcoin, or might have already happened. But kind of ETH trading below the daily 200 EMA is also not that good. ETH price-wise, kind of just looking at if you're just looking at the structure, money flow, the momentum waves crossed over and the money flow is still coming out on the weekly, but it will follow Bitcoin. 6 days red, it's kind of like Bitcoin's about to cross 5 days red. There's kind of no real hope here. Some of the time frames are still, so 3 days still green, 2 days red, daily will be red, and then kind of flipping down to the 4 hour. Yeah, so those are kind of the key time frames for me. So if we look at the kind of spaghetti and my mess that I have normally, for now, basically this week, all we've done over the last 2 weeks basically is dropped out of the top profile and kind of moved our way back down, kind of this 10 wick. We kind of recovered it here and dropped here kind of 2 weeks ago. And then literally just been trading sideways, came back into an anchored VWAP, which is pulled from the 4,300 odd dollar high. And then, yeah, that's just been holding us down as resistance for now. If we were just looking at the kind of volume profiles that I'm looking at, there is one from the side here, kind of, so the volume profile ranges between 2,800 and 4,000 basically. So 2,800, 3,300, 4,000, give or take. Yeah, sliced, same like Bitcoin, sliced the macro POC, kind of close below it. Is what I mean by sliced. And then we currently just bounced off a naked weekly point of control, so a high volume weighted level on the weekly. There is just below here for now, kind of macro level 2,800, and then obviously you have a macro golden pocket from, I think this is from the 1,500 low. If we just quickly double check it, which low is that? Yeah, basically from the $1,400 low all the way to the high, you've got the key macro golden pocket just below this value area low. So the zone kind of danger Will Robinson bounce zone. Obviously with market structure, we're still saying it's bearish, but for the most part, kind of the danger Will Robinson or kind of the zone kind of to probably snuff a decent swing long for like the bearish back test kind of lower into a lower macro lower high, would probably be around the zone between 2,800 and kind of 2,600, maybe down to 2,500 at the very worst. Lots of volume weighted levels in there. Naked weekly POCs untapped literally on the way up from 1,500 or even from 2,000, left a whole lot of levels behind kind of that I look at. So kind of, yeah, and 4 hour Bitcoin was starting to form a 4 hour bullish divergence, starting to form here as well. So generally these, for me, having noticed from kind of Jason Casper as a kind of a strategy, generally a 4 hour bullish divergence will signal kind of a pivot low, which is not necessarily a macro low that where you're going to bounce and you go yeet again, but at least a more general low. And we've kind of got the higher highs kind of on the market suffer B momentum waves, and obviously lower lows on the price action. Yeah, but for now, key level to hold, psychological 3,000. Resistance above us is basically we need to get back above. We would need to see a little bit more bullish action. We will need to get back above 3,200, give or take. But 3,300 is the POC of this macro range. So probably something, if you catch a low, you probably come into there to make another lower low into the POC again. I mean, into the value area low again. For the most part, yeah, it's also not looking good. So kind of watch 2,600 to 2,800 kind of as a zone for ETH with the macro golden pocket, or yeah, otherwise you're kind of watching for a break above 3,200 to kind of make its way back towards 3,300. But yeah, that's kind of Bitcoin and ETH not looking good, and there's probably a whole lot of other things on the agenda tonight that probably will kind of suggest kind of and be suggestive to kind of what I've pretty much shown here as well, kind of when you guys talking about
everything to zero, right?
Yes,
everything to zero.
But yeah, that's generally just Bitcoin and ETH, not doing a hell of a lot at the moment. So yeah, just be safe.
Thank you, DDT. Appreciate it. All right, let me get over to my screen share here. Boom. Yeah, you guys see this? BlackRock portfolios move its U.S. Treasury fund to the BNB chain. Oh, these guys, not only did they get in, but they're getting in, they're forming partnerships. BlackRock has increased the coverage of its tokenized U.S. Treasury fund. introducing it to the BNB chain, a noteworthy move by the asset manager attempting to enter the on-chain finance space. The move is an indication of increasing institutional belief in blockchain networks outside Ethereum, on which BlackRock first launched its fund earlier this year. Why is this important? Well, let's get into it a little bit. BNB Street just got a new resident, BlackRock's BUIDL fund, the world's largest tokenized real-world asset, has officially landed on BNB chain. Newsworthy event over there at BNB, and I just wish that BNB would be so much easier for us in the U.S. to access it and all of its power and glory, because this year BNB's if you would have jumped in that in 2022 in the BNB coin, like Bitcoin, like go back and look, those two coins, man, I would say Bitcoin, BNB, Solana from 2022, maybe Ethereum, when it hasn't got up past it didn't create a new all-time high like BNB did. But BNB's got a lot of stuff going on, and they are pushing a push in the direction of multi-chain tokenization. The move by BlackRock supports an emerging trend in the industry. Products of institutional grade are moving multi-chain more and more since BUIDL. It's funny because in the home building world, that's almost like a play on HODL and hold and build in BUIDL. So is already available on Ethereum. The development to accommodate BNB chain demonstrates the approach of the firm to establish interoperability with the leading blockchain ecosystem, and that would be BNB. So launched on Ethereum, got rolling on Ethereum, but now available on BNB, connecting the world's traditional assets and cryptocurrencies. In 2024, 2025, tokenized treasury products have experienced a surge in popularity because investors are looking to acquire yield on chain assets that are safe. The presence of BlackRock has contributed to making the sector legit and driving up its adoption. Redman, what's your thoughts on BlackRock jumping over on BNB?
Yeah, so I never thought I'd hear those two words in the same sentence, Billy. Safe and Binance. But here we go. I guess they've proven to BlackRock that they can be safe. Their fees are a lot lower. This opens up a whole new world to institutional investors around the globe, not just in China, but now expanding their reach to America. I mean, America has the first biggest market other than China, right? So, it makes sense monetarily because the fees are lower. It makes sense because it boosts their utility, because now those same investors will be able to collateralize their holdings and borrow against it. And that's what they want to do. They don't want to sell. I don't think anybody wants to sell their crypto, but if they can borrow against it and then buy more crypto with that, when it does come time to sell, they'll have, uber amount more of crypto to sell and make a lot more money. So yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense because it's the biggest liquidity pool in crypto. And not only that, it's just accelerating institutional adoption. It's accelerating mass adoption because now they can operate in China, they can operate in the East, and they can operate in the West. So yeah, it makes sense from a monetary standpoint for BlackRock.
Yep. What do you think, Jimmy Jim? I can't hear Jimmy. Can you guys hear Jimmy?
They want to own everything, a piece of everything, don't they? I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense. And if they're going to do that, they're probably banking on a lot of people defaulting.
That's an interesting take for sure. I think it brings some legitimacy to BlackRock too. I mean, you're talking or to BNB. I think that partnership brings just like it did when they launched on ETH. I mean, if you want to get into the game, you got to play with the big boys. And now, I don't know what is the relationship with CZ and Binance now, Redman.
As far as I know, he's not allowed to operate under he's no longer the CEO of Binance. He has an advisory role and that's it. But
and maybe
but
with
as
his Spartan, things may have changed. He may be
But
allowed to
what
operate again.
the utility is Trump is able to use BZ or CZ as a bridge, a go-between. So Trump is able to use CZ to get to China, to get to Binance. You know, and I think that's the big thing. But he's no longer the CEO over there. He's no longer running Binance.
Yeah. You have thoughts on this, Dave? BNB,
Well,
BlackRock.
I mean, I think it's rather significant. I mean, I just hope the writing's not on the wall for ETH. You know, we all talked about everything is built on ETH and all the institutional, everything's on ETH. Well, if Binance starts to chip away at that, and then other people see that you can chip away at it, it could be the writing on the wall for ETH, and ETH may not end up being as strong as we think. I hope it is. I hope we see $5,700, $8,000 ETH this cycle. But man, I don't know where it's going to come from.
Yeah. I mean, those chains, BNB and ETH, two of the big dogs. Anything could happen, but the probability curve in my world would be those two guys aren't going anywhere. But anything certainly could happen. The probability of it is very low in my estimation. But yeah, I mean, I think it's another legitimate piece in the crypto sector that crypto's here to stay. You have this big money, BlackRock, coming in, and they're making a statement. Like Jimmy said, they want a piece of everything. And they typically go, we say we're early. I think they would say 10 years from now, they were really early in establishing this space. We wouldn't think that because we've been here for a long time. But as far as traditional finance goes, I think they're thinking like they're ahead of the curve on this. And they're early and they're setting up their established framework and foundation to roll in traditional finance. So I think it's good for crypto overall.
For those that are new, right? For those that are new to crypto, imagine the world's biggest toy saver, BlackRock. BlackRock is saving their chest full of dollar bills that they grow like magic beans. They just plopped it out on a zippy fast playground called BNB Chain, and now it's quicker and cheaper for everyone. So they can play worldwide with it. They can play with blockchain money toys. They can swap slow wagons for a rocket bike. So look, if people are new to this and like, what is all this BNB and Chain and BlackRock? It's a software, a platform that's worldwide, that's cheap and anybody can use it. Now we can start using it as well. And then it's just one of the biggest people on the block with the best toys.
Well, I understood half of what you said, Tony, but that first half, I'm not sure.
That was more than me.
I'm working on like kindergarten pitches to teach kids, to teach people that might be like, what is this all about? And I don't know. Maybe that just.
Oh,
so Jesse's saying it's hard to hear you, Billy.
Okay, how's this? Does this sound a little bit better? I don't know. Am I louder now? Am I louder now?
You're good.
Okay. Sorry about that, Jesse. Hey, good to see who we have in here. We have Crabman. Crabman, good to see you. Poe Man, good to see you, man. Always good to see you. Al Jr.'s in the chat. What's going on, Al Jr.? Trying to scroll up, but every time I do, I get snagged here. Who else we got? We got Squirrel Shine Bob, of course. He has to make an appearance. Rusty Bot. Throw your WD-40 for Rusty Bot. We got to keep him lubed up. He's got his own emoji over here on Billy Goat Tales. Rusty, good to see you. All right. Well, let's...
Wait for me! Billy!
Yep. Wait for me, Billy. How about this story, guys?
He's been saying that to you your whole life, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Did you guys know that old Jeffrey Epstein was a crypto advocate? I certainly didn't know that. I saw this story. I thought this is very interesting.
What does the headline say, Billy?
Some bad stuff, man. Very bad. Jeffrey Epstein was worried about Bitcoin and crypto taxes, the emails reveal. A year prior to his death, the sex offender attempted to influence the Trump administration's crypto policy through Steve Bannon. And these are emails that are now, of course, coming out through the Freedom of Information Act. Emails show Jeffrey Epstein sought Steve Bannon's help navigating and shaping U.S. crypto tax and regulatory policy in 2018. Epstein framed crypto as both a domestic tax issue and a global concern, urging Treasury to take action. Newly released documents portray him as actively engaging in early crypto policy debates, ranging from tax policy to Meta's failed stablecoin project, Libra. Wow. Remember that, guys? I remember that when that came out. Long story short, let's go down to some of the actual Bannon. Let's see. Right here. Will treasuries respond to you? Read crypto. Do we need another way in for advice? Epstein wrote to Bannon. So Bannon replied that the issue was then being mauled at the federal level by the NSC or the National Security Council, not the Treasury Department. Understood, Epstein replied, but there is an Office of Terrorism Finance at Treasury that has thought about tax. So, I mean, they're going into some very details about taxes and crypto, and I never knew, and maybe you all did, maybe you all knew that Epstein was involved in crypto. With what he was involved in, it kind of makes sense that he was involved in crypto in some way. So what do you think about that, Red Man? The whole Epstein email saga that's being released relative to crypto.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, relative to crypto, you know, the thing with Epstein is this is all coming on the coattails of the big dump. I think it was last week. And it's funny because I never knew some of these things. Like I was thinking to myself the other day, I said, well, what if we do find out who Satoshi really was? What if he wasn't this great guy everybody thought he was? Would you buy Bitcoin then? And I think at this point in this stage in the game, Bitcoin has been around for so long. And what it represents, the revolutionary tech that it represents, even though people, because they don't know Satoshi, they inherently think that that's a bad thing. They inherently think that they're gonna try, their bias in their own mind is gonna try to somehow link Bitcoin to somebody that's bad because they don't know who Satoshi is. I get that part, but at the same time, the type of revolution that Bitcoin has had and is having and will have in our economy in the future, I don't really care who invented Bitcoin at this point. I care about what Bitcoin does, the tech, and the revolution that comes. But yeah, when I was digging on this story, you know, I learned a couple things. Didn't know he was friends with Brock Pierce, the co-founder of Tether. I didn't know he was. I knew who Larry Summers was. I think it was the Clinton administration. Larry Summers was the Secretary of Treasury during that time. Very interesting, and I'm sure there's this web is very big, and it reaches to a lot of people that we have yet to uncover, right? But it still doesn't change my overall thesis on Bitcoin. To me, it's kind of like, so what, who cares at this point, but that, I mean, this is very interesting. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to FUD the story. It is very interesting. And I do kind of want to learn more about the origins and how all this came about. But at the same time, it just doesn't change my thesis is all I'm trying to say.
No, yeah. What do you think, DDT? Interesting?
Yeah, I think there's, bar the Epstein kind of involvement or kind of his push for kind of to get crypto more noticed and kind of regulated and available for kind of regular customers of kind of banks or whatever you call it, retail. Yeah, it seemed quite interesting. I don't think it at the time. Obviously, you can just see here, but from the article was prior to kind of there was a push for it, but obviously it was at the wrong time. But yeah, it looks as if kind of it's not just yeah, there may have been ulterior motives specifically is kind of where I'm getting at as well.
Yeah, I think Rusty
for
says
his push to get kind of some crypto regulation or whatever it was looked at and noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rusty nailed it. It's like Bitcoin's in the news. So
Yeah.
So let's anything we can tie to Bitcoin to get some eyeballs on it, good or bad, they're going to do it. For crypto people, I thought it was very interesting because I had no clue the man was involved in crypto whatsoever. So, what's your thoughts, Tony?
I don't know. So look, you got this naughty guy Epstein who's whispering to bigwigs, "Don't tax my Bitcoin too much. It's special. It's my little digital candy." Look, regardless of the ick, I think we keep playing nice. And honestly, what it makes me think about is this was what 2017, right? If way back then, people like himself and bigwigs are already talking about crypto and looking at tax implication and talking about the fact that there's this terrorism group looking at it and all these other things, then why play the shell game with crypto over the last 6 years before crypto became, welcome? Why play the game in Congress and everything else, talking bad about crypto, talking about it's for terrorists and smugglers and all this, when then obviously it was being looked at on the back end, being talked about on the back stage of the major political arenas. And then so were they using that to over the last few years to FUD Bitcoin so that they could put in more and then have more ownership later? I don't know. That's where I tinfoil hat think about sometimes. Did that one make sense at least?
Yeah, I could follow that logic perfectly, bro. Jim, any thoughts?
Interesting, yes. Surprising, no. Probably how he was probably an advocate for it because that's how he was getting paid for other goods and services.
That's what I started thinking about too, is like being in the side business that he was in. Crypto probably made sense, especially when there was no regulation back then and people really didn't know what was going on with it. So yeah. Who else? Anybody else got Dave? What's your thoughts on it?
I was just glad when those emails came out to see that I was only mentioned like 13 times. That was it was like I just dodged a bullet there. No, but on what you guys were saying about the actual Bitcoin that went to Epstein, I mean, they have now the technology to where that could end up blacklisted. So that could take more Bitcoin off of the market as spendable Bitcoin. They've done it with some Bitcoin in the past. So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Crypto Caveman, BC Port Corps in the building. Good evening. Good evening, JB. Good evening to you too. Thanks for stopping by, spending a little time with us. We appreciate you guys. We were just talking about a little Jeffrey Epstein story as he was a crypto advocate, and it's starting to come out in the emails that are being released through the Freedom of Information Act. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Little interesting take on on that. So let me see. Let me pull up my next little story. Could Bitcoin actually ever? Let me just drill into this. Hold on a second. You guys can't see it that well. Hold on 1 second. This is weird. You'd play the song, Dave. Yeah, there you go. There you go, man. Let me full story this. I'm gonna stop sharing because it didn't load. Now I can share. Okay, here we go. We're ready now. So Bitcoin could eventually eclipse gold's value. Says who? Michale Saylor. What? Can you believe it? As of late November, November 13th, early November, the respective market values of Bitcoin and gold were roughly 2 trillion and 29 trillion. That confirms the cryptocurrency would need an epic long-term rally to close the gap with the yellow metal. Throw in the point that gold's ETF have recently outshone funds such as the CoinShares, a Bitcoin fund, and some other ones as well. And some of the investors may think traditional gold is the better bet than digital gold, but don't be hasty in ignoring the largest digital currency and ETFs like right? That's because despite recent downside, they could again have their day in the sun. Long story short, if Saylor's right, skeptics may say that Saylor has previously floated audacious Bitcoin forecasts that have yet to prove accurate. They say he does so because his company is the world's largest corporate owner of the digital currency. A recent slide in strategy shares has taken the firm's market cap below the value of its Bitcoin holdings. Well, there's so much to unwrap in that right there, right? Because look at what it was before he made it a Bitcoin treasury type of company. Saylor's bullish outlook comes after prices for Bitcoin, smaller digital assets, and crypto-linked stocks such as Strategy has seen a fierce correction since 10/10, really, mid-October, with billions of dollars in leveraged positions within the crypto derivatives market unwinding in recent weeks. So you can watch this little video if you wanted to, but the whole notion, and you guys can see the numbers, we know the numbers, Bitcoin, $2 trillion market cap, gold, 29 trillion, long way to go. And I would say this, I told this story on the show. If you jumped into gold 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I mean, you are looking like a genius right now. Now, certainly if you go back and look at the historical gold movement and appreciation, these last couple of years has been the big mover, of course, but you would be pretty happy with your gold investment. Long term, I think it's going to be the same way with Bitcoin. If you look back at the early, anybody really, even go just back to the 69,000, you bought Bitcoin in it wasn't even 3 years. If you look at 2024, if we go back to December, I mean, when was it? We hit it was before the halving, we hit the all-time high. That was April. And so we hit the high before the halving, right? That was the first. And so you've done pretty well with your Bitcoin too. So what is your thoughts, Redman, on this whole idea that gold or Bitcoin can outperform gold's total market cap?
First, I'd like to say I agree with BC on this. I think you need both Bitcoin and gold. I was able to I made a considerable amount this year off of gold. I sold the gold that I bought about 3 years ago at pretty hefty profit. So I was happy with that. At the same time, because of percentages, right? Bitcoin over time is going to absolutely crush gold. And the reason why it's going to crush gold, and I'm thinking probably it's going to catch up by at least 2035. And that's probably when most of the Bitcoin is going to be mined. Now, that being said, that's only going to make a certain amount of Bitcoin available to new buyers. So after that point, Bitcoin is going to skyrocket. And I don't know. It could happen a couple of years earlier than that, but the way I look at it is, as soon as Bitcoin's pretty much 99% mined, man, good luck gold, because it's going to just leave gold in the dust. That's my thesis, not financial advice. I'm just some guy on a YouTube show. Do your own research. But to me, I think that what's working for Bitcoin is that it is hard money. And eventually it's not going to be mined anymore. Whereas gold can be mined forever. Gold is, to me, it's more rare than gold is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, only 21 million of them, and gold is forever ongoing, right? We're adding to the supply every day. I do wonder, I see JB made a comment when we talk about preppers and the doomsday theories. I do wonder if the insiders know something that's been driving this gold price up relative to either when you get closer to war, or when you get closer to some sort of financial collapse, or, hey, 3i Atlas is coming. Is that an alien ship, or is that an asteroid, right? So, but it's almost like you see a lot of movement in the last year and a half towards gold. And I've been in for 20-year treks and haven't seen gold move so hard and so fast and so long and consistently. Of course, when I went in long, it was at the top. It was still, like, you guys know, I lost that long. I got crushed out of that one, but I went to long that gold thinking it was going to continue to run. I think I longed it the very day it hit the high, and it started coming down for like two weeks. And then, of course, it ripped back up again after that. But I don't know. I think that it feels like either somebody knows something that we don't, because it feels like a forced, manipulated move all of a sudden after all these years. And I mean, I bought gold back when it was $300. I'll never forget where I was at. I was in a taxi in Vegas, and I was coming back from the home builder show, and the guy, the driver, the taxi cab driver was telling me about gold. And that is the first time that I learned about Bitcoin as well. This was about, I want to say 2009, something like that, 10, somewhere in that range when I first heard about Bitcoin, and that guy was telling me about gold. And my point is, man, there's people that in there, like my father, he saw gold go down for many, many years. Like they, you know, after we unpegged from the dollar, if you go back and look at the historical charts on that, there's a lot of people that saw gold go down. Not only did it go up, but it went down. So I don't know. It feels manipulated to me. And that's just my, like yours, a degen opinion. It seems there's just something at play here that I can't put my foot on, but that's the way I feel about it. What's your thoughts on it, Tony?
Sorry, I've got a different mic set up, so I got to find the button to click it on. Look, you know, like you already mentioned the size. It's like a big giant sandbox versus a bucket, right? Right now, Bitcoin's in the bucket and gold's got the sandbox. It's, you know, infinitely out there, just depending on how much people can find it, whether they're going and looking in rocks and streams and mountains and glaciers and asteroids and who knows where they can find it. But compared to Bitcoin that has that finite supply and you know, both take money in industry to. What is going on with the screen? Both take money in industry to
Mine's fine.
realize.
Nothing,
Oh, okay.
nothing's happening with the
You
screen.
know, both of
over
them take effort to realize. You know, obviously Bitcoin has the ability too, depending on the region. Like regions that have like a lot of power supply that goes to waste. You know, Bitcoin can be running on miners to use that electric supply, and then let's just say there's a heat surge or a cold surge, or there's some need for power in that area for it not to go to waste. Bitcoin can be used in that way, and they can just turn off those servers and let the electricity go to the neighboring area that needs the power. So I think there's many ways that you can use Bitcoin in a good way. And I don't think Bitcoin's going anywhere. I think it's only going to increase in value. It's only less than 2 decades old, and so we've got a long on ramp to go. And obviously, a lot of the supply is already out there, right? And we still have a lot to go, but it's not time to wait. We want to make sure
to go.
but still, like the majority, like it mined a lot in the beginning, and it's going to continually decrease. So it's probably best to have some and hodl some now and continue to DCA. Actually, you know, it's interesting. I was listening to Digital Asset News this I think Friday, and he was talking about that on Cash App you can have no fees and no something else if you DCA like on a weekly basis. Like if you do it instantly, they charge you fees and stuff. But so there's just another way for people to go and get crypto. They can use their Cash App and do that. And if they do that on that rolling weekly or whatever basis to DCA, then there's zero fees and zero. I forget what the other thing he said it was, but
yeah, I bought plenty of Bitcoin with Cash App.
And you can send it to your private wallets too. You don't have to just keep it on Cash App. You can actually send it off. So, you know, I know that's not really on the topic, but I just thought that's another good way. I bought it on Cash App, and when I get tipped here and there, I'll just take a portion of that and I buy Bitcoin there. It's a lot easier for me to buy it there and then maybe send it off later on.
Yep. Vegas Claw, good to see you, buddy. Andrea popping in on us. Caveman, good to see you. Who else did we see pop in here? I saw Claw JB. Curtis Hill, good to see you, man. Thanks for spending some time with us on Sunday. And the best toaster in the world is the French toaster. Good to see you, Toaster. Always good to have you in with us. Jimmy Jim, what's your thoughts on that gold versus Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, 27 trillion is a long way to have to go. I mean, you got a 100 more years of Bitcoin mining. I mean, I guess at some point in the future, that delta, the price action, will cross. But 27 trillion, considering from last bull market to this bull market, the growth in market cap, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't either. We'll see. Redman's hoping by 2035, right? Redman, we'll see it, but anything's possible.
Yeah, you gotta remember the halving every time it halves, right? The amount of Bitcoin is halved in half, right? So those block rewards get significantly shorter and shorter each time. But yeah, 2035, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I was wrong on that one, but it's a lot. It's actually a lot longer than that. I don't. My notes are messed up. Sorry, guys.
No, you're right, man. I mean, you never know. I mean, some of these blocks that are being mined with Bitcoin, because of institutional stuff that's happening, people paying the fees that they're making on this. Sometimes are hundreds of thousands of dollars within that block. If you mine a very rewarding block, I think that's how it's going to continue on after all the Bitcoin is mined. They're going to be mining for fees, but of course, all these big, huge corporations that are having these miners, they're going to have bought down their electricity till probably zero, right? Like just to have the revenue in that state. They'll probably get free electricity or 5 cent, 3 cent electricity. But yeah, the gold continues to be mined. I just feel like there's something going on with gold that isn't organic and natural right now. I can't put my finger on it, but it certainly doesn't feel organic and natural. It almost feels like what you see when there's FOMO, when there's fear, lots of fear. And you got to look around and say, why? What do you know that I don't know? And it just seems interesting to me. So to have that article come out where they're actually, well, we know Saylor's going to always suggest that Bitcoin's going to be worth more than gold. I mean, at this point, he had a better case when he was just starting his journey into becoming a Bitcoin treasury company, basically, because he wasn't there yet. And it was a decision he made, and having a belief in Bitcoin before you actually put all that money in. And now he's got all that. He just keeps buying and buying and buying. Well, now, of course, people are going to suggest that he's always going to be a proponent of Bitcoin because he wants his Bitcoin, the market price to go up. So he wants people to buy it. But you got to look at his original thesis, his original premise was he became a believer. He saw something that other corporations and CEOs did not see. And he designed a strategy around that. And I got to take my hat off to a guy like that because he put his money where his mouth is. And of course, just like all of us, if we own Bitcoin, we certainly believe in it, in its ethos, and we certainly want it to go up in price, right? I mean, of course we do. We want Bitcoin to get to be $1 million a share. So anyways, did I go around the horn? DDT, you got any thoughts on that?
The gold, sorry, I'm
versus
on.
Bitcoin.
The gold issue is,
Let's
or the
take
gold
a look
run.
at gold on the chart if you got time, DDT.
Yeah, quickly. Let me just quick. I need to flip templates quickly. But just to say, the gold run is basically because a lot of the BRICS nations are buying gold to back their currency with gold, so they can move off dollar-backed, or supposedly. But also as well, there is evidence that China has been buying up a hell of a lot of gold, kind of to back the yuan, and then Russia as well somehow also is in there. North Korea, if you call it that as well. There's lots of kind of countries overtly trying to move off the dollar standard or less reliant on it. So that's kind of the subliminal thing going on at the moment.
Well, you're pulling that up. BC Port Corp, $5 super chat. Gold price explosion is because of MMT. Yep, gold does a direct account of the fiat supply. Unless they decrease fiat supply, gold won't go down too harshly.
Let me just.
Yeah, and for those that don't know what MMT is, that's the modern monetary theory, describing how government issues its own fiat currency. You can't run out of money.
Sorry, I've got a million and one things on the gold chart. I just need to. Right,
We
let's
got
share
Penny.
this.
Pennywise stopped in to say hello to us. Good to see you, Penny.
Window. Okay, so quickly on the gold chart. I have loaded it now. Sorry.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, so bullish since the breakout from like 3.5K. Literally strong trend up. It's now came back and it now is hovering or hovered around kind of this demand zone and put it in. It's still put in a higher low, right? So it's still bullish until it breaks down below 38.86. But you'll probably find here Fibonacci. Yeah, hit the local golden pocket of Fibonacci from the all-time high at like 4,400. Down, if we look at money flow, yeah, it's thick and trending up, but a red dot on the daily. You're looking at 4 hour, you're barely going to get anything as well. 4 hours is looking and posturing that it wants to go up. The thing with gold now, I think as well, is obviously the same thing with the finite supply. There's less and less available now unless they find new sources and mine new mines and actually dig out. So what's happening is bullion. I've got a friend that works for JP Morgan. And he was saying the vaults in London, or maybe it's common knowledge, but there was a run on the vaults in London. Lots of people had withdrawing their vaults and kind of self-custodying their gold. But also as well, a lot of the customers of the bullion vaults were all international customers as well. And this is kind of where that whole Chinese and kind of Russian and all these oligarchs, or whatever you call it, were taking their gold out. And kind of it kind of is a supply shock, but it kind of isn't. It's just that they were claiming. So for those that don't know, basically what happens when you store your gold in like a London vault, you get a certificate, right? Which just means you have kind of access to that gold, or it's yours. It proves it's yours. But then when you give your certificate in to redeem your physical gold, kind of it's paper gold, kind of physical gold kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And the problem was, there's a supply. And also as well, somehow kind of even leading on to that, or kind of further extrapolating that, was that I think the US as well had quite a lot of gold reserves when Doge was doing all their audits. I think the run on the bullion vaults in London was also because of extracting gold from the vaults and moving it back to Fort Knox, is it? So I think that was also kind of some of the case as well. But for the most part, gold is basically going up because I think it was JB Hulk Smash was saying something. Like dollar volatility, inflation. There is some kind of economic metrics at this point that's kind of suggesting as to why that gold broke up and where it is. Kind of at this point, to get higher, it's going to have to go above like 42.50. Like I was saying, posturing on a 4-hour to look as if it wants to go up. But kind of for now, it's made a higher low into kind of a daily higher low. But kind of the 4 hours, just a bit mixed mash. Depending which way it goes, kind of I'm more postured to say that it will try and attempt kind of and recover at least back up to 4,200 for now. For those that kind of want to get in on gold, and if it comes down, obviously you can see big trend. There's kind of a range here. You're more than likely looking up if you're going to, when this thing catch up to itself. There's an order block here on the daily. Kind of that could be kind of a good point. So I think gold below 4K is obviously kind of could be a good purchase. Kind of same up Bitcoin. You're going to got to diversify and those type of things. So kind of 3,600 is a good buy. Otherwise, if it fails 3,600 and starts falling comparatively, you kind of your 32 to 3,500 range, kind of the not long accumulation, the kind of early 25, April 25 to like September, August 2025, this whole range, like 3,200 to 3,500 accumulation range, could come all the way back there. But that's kind of just the quick ins and outs and kind of my thoughts on gold at this point. But it's one of those commodities you can't really go wrong with, financially speaking, which is not necessarily financial advice, but it's just proven the test of time kind of as an asset class or as a commodity that it's kind of worthwhile as an asset that you could look into for kind of diversification purposes.
Yep, I agree. Man, my mic sounds so loud to me. Is it loud to you guys?
No, it's actually low.
It's actually low?
Yeah.
It's actually really low.
Man. How's that? Is that better?
You need to check the settings in StreamYard, make sure it's auto volume's not checked.
All right. I'll be right back. Take it over there, text.
It's unchecked right now, so you're good to go. And so one thing that we're not considering is, gold is only limited resource here on Earth, right? So if we do become interplanetary, or we do get hit with some big old asteroids or something from another planet comes in, it may not be as finite as it is now. So, I mean, just because gold is relatively in short demand here doesn't mean that on all the planets that it's going to be the same.
Yeah, good point. Definitely. I didn't have anything else to say on that. So why don't we, in absence, open the club, Jimmy. What do you think? Everybody's been calling for a club opening. I think we should use a little energy, get up and dance. All right.
Which club do you guys want to open?
I don't know, Jimmy gave us
The old one.
Oh, no,
Jeff wants the old one. Which one y'all
The
want?
old one, and then we can throw some music on. I don't remember which is which. Let's play them all.
Yeah, the club.
That was fun. That was fun. So look, who's number 2? So who's the rankings? Why don't we go into chat? Say hello to the chat. See who's there. Of course. Dance won. That's good on that poll. So what's going on? BC
What
Pork
about
Corp. We
dancing on the
got
poll?
Dave Digital. Not the no dance.
Matic.
On the
Matic poll.
Jesse,
Matic.
Happiness, go hello. We got K Dig in the house. We got Lasers go pew pew, and Mike Vollmer and Rusty Bot and Vegas Claw. So thank you all for being here. Of course. What's next on the docket? I think we had something about the Bitcoin whales, right? In the crypto ocean, enormous whales with Bitcoin tummies are blowing bubbles and spitting coins. Wall Street's Bitcoin piggy banks, big whoops, 870 million leaked out. Did you guys hear that? That they have an outflow of 870 million out of those ETFs, tipping the price down the slide even more. But slides are fun. Might be a quick dip before that bounce back. What do you all think on and Billy, you can answer first. And I'm sure you had something prepared, but what are you thinking about the whales' impact on the bitty Bitcoin?
They're definitely selling. I mean, one of the stories that we looked into was that there was people saying that Michale Saylor, they thought he was selling, and so he had to come in and reconfirm that no, he's not selling. What was going on there with the custodial wallets? They were, they have to move some things around, and so it could look like a sale, but it wasn't. They're just moving it from one secure location to another. Michale Saylor, I think, as soon as if he ever did sell, like that would be big news, right? That's like second to Satoshi, right? Seeing that wallet wake up and do something.
Some people are saying that that's the catalyst that we do want. Some people are saying that that's what's going to propel us into the next level, is whenever he capitulates and he gets liquidated. That's what there's people specifically looking for that to happen and calling for that to be the catalyst that launches us.
The issue with Saylor, the issue with Saylor is the net asset value and the premiums, right, with his stock and his different options on his stock. So what happens is as soon as Saylor, or soon as retail ETFs, whoever it is, start buying his stock, that gives him money and gives him premium on his stock to sell the stock to get more money to buy Bitcoin. It starts the cycle again, right? So ideally what we need for him to capitulate is for his stock to go to zero and his company to go to zero and become insolvent, which, because of the Bitcoin being on the balance sheet, forces by insolvency law, he has to liquidate the Bitcoin to pay creditors or debtors. That's kind of the only loop that will literally liquidate and force his hand at selling. Bar that, Saylor can always issue, if he wants to, he's always got options to issue new stock to get more money. So he's got a money glitch on his stock price and his stocks always kind of the stock options to always be able to raise, provided people will buy the stock options and the premiums or whatever they call it, the preferentials. So the only way that Saylor liquidates or kind of does anything like that is if his company goes bankrupt or goes insolvent. But he's got the option to always just constantly just kind of print money out of thin air with his stock and his stock options and preferentials for the time being.
Who does that sound like? FTX?
Yeah.
It's a Ponzi.
Just to print out
At
more
best.
coins.
Sorry, I'm very strong about it, but it's a Ponzi. It's a money glitch, which you can constantly do. But
I mean, it sounds like the government.
Exactly.
you can just print money, or you can just list stocks and kind of do his SEC listing, create new stock option, and kind of continue the loop.
Web3 Lawn Musty, good to see you over there on X. We appreciate you stopping in. One of the
And you know,
Star Dog
are some
family.
people maybe taking some of these lower prices to take some tax harvest laws, tax harvest losses, so that they can buy right back in. And
If they
get
bought
some
the
of those
top, yeah.
gains. Well, yeah. I mean, if they bought the top, but even if they bought lower on, that means they could take less gains this year because they're selling at a lower price than where it was.
Yeah,
So, like if I bought at 50 and I sell at 80 or 90, whatever, I'm only gaining 40,000 versus 100,000. So
yeah, the only thing to add here is maybe we could see some stock drawdowns or kind of investors doing that now, because obviously it's coming up into tax season, kind of December, January. So that could kind of so for Saylor specifically, if his stock draws down, obviously he has less money to buy, which means he won't sell necessarily, right? But if you're looking at kind of what investors would do, like MicroStrategy below 200, I think it was like 230 this week, give or take, had a high of about 400 or something like that. I think savvy investors, because of the kind of your only options rather than buying physical Bitcoin, if you want to have exposure to Bitcoin, is either MicroStrategy or another treasury company for that matter, or ETFs. So it just depends on the risk appetite and kind of the exposure that whoever's investing in each wants. Like either you're going to buy Bitcoin, put it in a cold wallet, or you're going to MicroStrategy or ETF. But I think as well as a vehicle, or kind of an investment vehicle, I think the ETFs are probably, in my opinion, the better kind of, although people kind of still want to use MicroStrategy and those type of things as an option, but I still think the ETFs probably had the better draw at this point than MSTR.
I don't.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Billy. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say to Tony's cover story, crypto whales are selling Bitcoin as it sinks further below 100 grand. Should investors be worried? One of the things to DDT's point, I think in hindsight, we're going to have a clearer picture, of course, but I think what we're seeing is the first time we have options that allows us to short Bitcoin. We have futures. We have the ability to buy contracts, puts and calls on Bitcoin. Now, as OGs in crypto, we understand the 4-year cycle, and we've talked about this, all of us, relative to options. We've talked about, look, when you get to a certain time frame in the cycle, why wouldn't you buy some options, some put options? Because if nothing happens, the little premium you pay, the $100, it expires. But if it does happen per the cycle, things go. I guarantee you, and I haven't looked at this, but I'm just telling you, if we go and pull this data, I bet you anything that the options a month ago, in October, for puts on Bitcoin, just simply because look at where we're at. Look at the time that has elapsed from cycle top to cycle top. It would make good sense to just have a flurry of puts, options, contracts. And that kind of sell pressure, man, that's the first time we in crypto have really experienced this. Not a volatile move. We've all experienced that in crypto, but it's a different situation now. There's a lot more leveraged money that can can manipulate that price. And I would just say a month from now, 2 months from now, when we get all the reports, when we have the visibility to see what was going on, I think we're going to see that these options and the whole institutional money grade ETFs have really impacted pricing from a pricing standpoint.
Yeah, I think the put call ratio specifically on BTC was about 2 within the last few weeks, 2.5, 3 to 1. So for every, but these also as well can be leaps, right? So these can be like swing puts or swing trades. They don't have to
Right.
be kind of your weekly options or your daily options.
Right.
So the longer term was definitely kind of favoring downside based on kind of the amount of puts, and these are just leaps. So like 3 to 1,
Right.
give or take. So yeah, what you're suggesting is quite kind of true, and that kind of has obviously the sell pressure that kind of we've experienced. Obviously, spot selling and stuff, but the options as well have put further sell pressure on.
I mean, you can make
price.
a ton of money with those options,
Yeah.
and that apparatus, that particular vehicle, wasn't here last cycle, but it's here this cycle. You know, so when we say there's a lot of first, there is a lot of first. You know, it's that just new dynamics at play. But going back to your article, Tony, strategy is still buying. Michale Saylor said on Friday, Bitcoin was still trading below 100,000 Friday afternoon, as we know now. What's it at right now, Dave? 93 something? I can't see
Yeah,
your
94.1.
Just
Okay.
got back above 94,000.
Yeah. As Bitcoin traded below its key 100,000 milestone this week, recent selling by whales or holders of large amounts of cryptocurrency, along with other long-term holders, has emerged as notable contributors to the recent weaknesses. Most blockchain analytics firms define whales as individuals or institutions holding 1,000 Bitcoin or more. Although the identities of the most whales are unknown, blockchain's data can still offer insights into their activity by tracking their crypto wallets, as we know. Those data have shown that I don't even, that's good English. That data has shown that some whales recently stepped up their Bitcoin sales, so they're selling. That's notable, but it's not necessarily a sign of a panic. Some analysts had said the recent selling could reflect steady profit taking rather than panic dumping, a pattern consistent with behavior seen in previous bull market cycles, which is kind of gets us into our thumbnail with the bull or the bear, and the bear saying, what are we doing here? Is this gonna bounce? Are we in the bear market? Is it going to continue to perform just like we would traditionally think? Or remember May of 21 and then November of 21, the beautiful double top, I think, and I'm going off of memory here. I think May we were like at 50 something, 57,000, 55. And then it came way down. And then it went up to, in November of 21, to $69,000. And there was months in between there. You got May to November. We have people saying it's elongated cycle, stretched out cycle, that it's different this time. What's your thesis on this, Jimmy Jim?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, with all the stories that have been covered today, I mean, if you look at kind of what the market has done since the government shut down, whales taking profits, stuffing that into gold, you know, waiting to see how everything, you know, really shakes out here. I mean, it all kind of adds up, you know. I mean, do I think there's a chance of a rebound from here? I mean, sure. I mean, we've done it in the past. You know, I mean, it could simply be a shakedown. More people to jump in at a really, really cheaper, much cheaper price than where we've been living. So is it possible? Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely in that zone of where I had concern, 93 to 95. I said, ooh, it gets down there and there's some concern. But yeah, I mean, if you rewind the tape, I mean, August or April of 21, I mean, that top was around 60, 64, 65, and then November of 21,
Yeah.
70, on 5 or whatever it was.
69 something, yeah. Almost 70. Yeah,
So is
yeah.
that
I
where we're
mean,
at? I don't know.
exactly. That's I'm starting to feel more based on the information and the data. I'm starting to actually. Well, let me back up and say it like this: like historical data would tell me this is just doing what it always does. The cycle's not broken. We're seeing that it's not broken. It's doing what we all thought it would do with Bitcoin. Okay. But there's another piece of me with all this new money, all this new liquidity, all these new products, and we're going to get into a story in a minute about just the volume of ETFs, the change in the rules with the SEC to allow them to become approved a lot faster. You got trillions of dollars on the sidelines of institutional grade money in businesses that are waking up and saying, we're not in this crypto market. And so there's a piece of me that is thinking, like, that whole 10-10 thing, and maybe DDT, maybe you have some more information on this, but to me, when that all happened, that definitely felt like manipulation. It didn't feel like organic, natural. And it felt like, this whole idea with BNB, Binance, and how everything has to roll through there and Coinbase. And there's just a lot of levers behind the scenes that we don't all understand exactly the movement of shorts, puts and calls. They're just it almost feels like I'm to a position now where I'm starting to believe, just personally, not financial advice, I'm starting to believe that we may just have a nice bounce. Now, I wasn't thinking of that a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but I'm thinking we're following the cycle. I've been saying that. I've been saying we'll know when it's broke, guys. When it's broke, we'll know it's broke. But until then, I'm a believer in the cycle. I've been saying that for years now. So I'm just now getting to a point myself where I'm thinking, I don't know. This seems awful fast. The 10-10 occurred. It seems like awful fast. It seems orchestrated more than what I would call natural. And I'm starting to change my thesis a little bit. Now, I haven't made moves because I don't sell my Bitcoin, so I keep my Bitcoin. But I haven't really made other moves that would say you take a thesis and you make your bets on that. I haven't done that yet, but I'm starting to think that way. Anyways, what's your thoughts on that, DDT?
Yeah. So for those who don't know, basically what happened on 10-10 was Binance kind of somehow manages all the centralized price oracles or kind of price data feeds to a lot of the other exchanges and even to some of the other dexes. So basically when that went down, that caused an issue because stop losses or whatever it is, orders couldn't hit because the data was down, right? So that obviously caused unnecessary volatility. We could call it kind of, maybe it was staged, maybe it wasn't, we don't know. Kind of, they actually haven't even come out to say, obviously all I know was that the Oracle went down and that's what caused the swap down. But also as well, kind of just before the everything went a bit balmy, I could see on order flow that there was big shorts. So there was some form of staging going on, in my opinion. Not really got down to the bottom of it. So basically what's happened as well in price action, obviously we've had the 10-10 wick. And then I think like last week, we came up and we kind of filled 50% of the wick. Well, actually, no, where was it? So we had 1010, which was there, and then on the 17th we came to fill it, and then obviously kind of we made the high 116 on the 27th of October, and then obviously filled the full wick of the 1010 on the 4th of November, on Tuesday, 4th of November. For that to be bullish, we should not have come and we should not kind of, just by wick theory, we should not have come and filled that. Kind of 50%, we should have bounced from like 105, 106 and should have moved up and stayed away from it. But obviously now, hindsight and kind of current price action, we've come down and filled and gone even lower. But what that 1010 wick did, obviously, was kind of flush the order books, kind of take out, like wipe out a lot of people, right? It was 125 billion just kind of on the retail side. We obviously still don't even know the ramifications of kind of the market makers and liquidity providers that got taken out as well. So for the most part, like to Billy's point, that kind of institutions could start positioning. Yes, probably that could have been something that maybe they had a hand in. We don't know. Or whales kind of had a hand in. We don't know that. We'll never know. But also as well, kind of as we drop lower, I think the kind of the cheese in the trap is there basically for kind of institutions to start stepping in at a better price. Would institutions have bought and ETFs bought at 102? Probably kind of 1010, that kind of price action. But kind of 93, 94K is obviously a bit of a better deal at this point for them. The only thing is as well, I think with the ETFs is that they kind of, when talking about institutions, I mean, just thinking ETFs for the time being, they're usually driven by retail anyway. So obviously with the retail flows and the ETF flows at the moment, they kind of outflows. So people are taking profit on the ETFs, which causes sell pressure from the ETFs to sell some of the Bitcoin within the ETFs. So until such time as kind of the ETFs start catching a lot of bids and start having decent days of inflows, we're not really going to see the ETF specifically start picking up a lot more Bitcoin and kind of helping drive the price and kind of hold the price. So for now, kind of the price action in inverted commas is kind of being held up by retail, trying to hold price up. It's kind of whale games at this point. It's whales or kind of big players versus retail at this point. We don't necessarily have kind of the ETFs helping us kind of, if you want to long or if you want to buy Bitcoin kind of and see some decent upside for the time being. Yeah, the kind of the current price action isn't suggesting that institutions obviously got Saylor and those type of things, but for the most part, it's not necessarily big institutional players stepping in, I think, just yet. They're probably nibbling in the background, but kind of nothing, no real kind of decent bullish news now to say, oh, an institution bought 50,000 Bitcoin or whatever the story is. Kind of a few months ago, we just had them piling in, like Cantor Fitzgerald and a whole lot of other kind of companies, just Meta Planet were just kind of buying tops like Saylor, whereas that's just not the case now.
Yeah, to me, it kind of gives off that 2017 vibe, 2021 vibe, where we did see 25-40% corrections in a bull market. Guys, this is only 25% correction from the top. I mean, it's not. And another thing too is this is not a slow grind down. These are big red candles, which tells me I'm hoping for a V-shaped recovery and that nice green candle up. I'm waiting for it. I know it's going to come. All this sell pressure is just creating more buy pressure, and I feel like Bitcoin is. I don't think the bull run's over yet. We're at the end of the year, but yeah, I mean, we could very well, like me and DDT were talking. What was that, 2 weeks ago? I mean, it could very well go to 110 and go sideways. You know, that is still a thought that I have in the back of my mind. But are we losing 75K anytime soon? We joke about it, but no, I definitely don't think we're going to be losing 75K anytime soon.
Yeah, I think the thought is as well, obviously, price can go down. It can go down lower than what we expect it to go down. Obviously, it's a volatile market, a volatile asset. So, yeah, it could go back to 75 quite easily. But at least kind of, if we were thinking kind of back how our price action usually works, I would say worst case, we go back and test the 69K at the very worst. That's kind of my line in the sand. And kind of, I have friends and kind of a lot of people that I speak to and kind of am in contact with. Some people are still saying we'll go back to 40K. Like at 40K, I'm a reckless buyer at that point. Like, you know, so the lower it goes, the better for me, kind of, because I'll accumulate Bitcoin kind of as it goes down. Obviously DCA down, not just throw my whole dollar stash at kind of now. Just
Right.
nibble as it goes down, DCA as it goes down, accumulate kind of at as lowest prices as you can, or kind of that's what I will do. So don't kind of follow me. So yeah, not giving financial advice on that, but that's just kind of what I'll be doing. So yeah, it can go lower than what we want. Kind of for those that have kind of money on the sidelines, there's no kind of better strategy than DCAing. Kind of if you feel the price is relevant for you to DCA at. So yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So, you know, I think our next topic, and just for y'all heads up, Billy had to step out for a bit. I don't think he'll be joining us for the rest of the show, but he sends his well wishes to everybody. You know, the altcoin piggy banks are now going to maybe open up to ETFs. The government says, yay to altcoin piggy banks. Now Bitcoin and Ethereum have those easy stock market jars. And now some of the altcoins like XRP or maybe Solana are going to get some those extra piggy bank jars for people to put money in from the stock market. What are you guys looking at? Do you think Solana's speedy, super fast rocket playground is going to get its own piggy bank next? Which one do you think is going to be next? And what are your thoughts on that?
What the heck are you asking us?
Talking about the altcoin ETF inflow. Which altcoin? I'm calling them the new stock market piggy banks are going to fill the ETF jars.
If they're about to put together a group of altcoins into an ETF, I think that's the whole purpose of ETFs. You're supposed to take a basket of assets, put them all together. It reduces your risk. That way you can have a whole bunch of them. That's how it's supposed to be done. I don't know why we've been doing these ETFs the way that crypto's been doing them, but those are the type of ETFs I look forward to.
I think Grayscale's the only one currently that's waiting a listing of their dual asset or kind of multiple asset ETFs. So that might be worth kind of a stab looking at it depending when that launches. But kind of the single asset ETFs, obviously we've got Solana, and then XRP I think is launching or launched. But kind of in hindsight, if everyone looks at kind of what ETFs do, as soon as they launch, price just drops usually. There's no real kind of rip off the bat, kind of as soon as an ETF launches. So yeah, kind of even if the ETFs are buying, I think the thing is if you do want to DCA into specific assets that are kind of tied to ETFs, then or listed within ETFs, then yeah, kind of you would do that, but you would need to kind of do your own due diligence as to what you buy. Obviously, kind of I've pointed out kind of in my TA section that we may be closer to the end, and kind of timing wise, we are closer to the end of the bull run. So you don't want to overexpose yourself to kind of a lot of purchases. I would say just kind of yet at this point, again, kind of being where we are in the cycle. So yeah, just do your due diligence, but kind of the ETFs definitely will help with some buy side pressure, specifically with the alts that are listed within ETFs.
So I like what Dave said. I like that. ETFs. Ideally, it's like an index fund, right? You have multiple assets in there. It diversifies some of the risk. It provides for gains. What are your thoughts on that? ETH Maxi over here. ETH Maxi Jimbo Fett.
ETH Maxi. Ooh, ouch.
It's his name on screen.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
I don't either. I thought you did.
No, but I agree with what Dave's saying. You know, I mean, if it's a collection of, call it, the top 25 altcoins, I mean, that could be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I think that opens the normie door.
What are your thoughts, Red? Yeah, so you have something pulled up in the back behind you. What are your thoughts?
I'm just looking at the outflows because there's some steep outflows for Ethereum and Bitcoin here. 7-day net outflow is 195 million. 1 day net inflow is 22.1 million. So that's a big. There's a big gap there. Also, and Ethereum's ETF. I mean, you're looking at 330 million coming out and only 14 million coming in. So this doesn't look very bullish right now. Yeah, look at how steep the volume is on the outflows here. Massive money coming out. And it started July 30th. It looks like it started for Ethereum July 30th. It started for Bitcoin August 1st. Yeah. So
right in the same time frame.
Yeah, so that's the big thing. I
Which
think
is right around where we think the bear market started.
Yeah, so I think it was Sin City that was saying, who's selling all this Bitcoin right now? I think a lot of those red candles. I think most of that volume is ETF volume, and obviously traders. But I think the ETFs have played a big part in tanking this price. I don't think these people really realize the volatility in Bitcoin, and I think they're trying to learn just as much as we are. But I think they panic sell at the same time when they see these big dips, or supposedly big dips. 25% is not really a big dip, but yeah, some people are used to that and some people aren't. And I believe these ETF buyers are not really used to that, and that's why you're seeing the big outflows. Just my take on it, though.
Yeah, you got to be able to handle the big dip energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Redman, I don't know how you, me, Billy, and Redman, of course, are in the Blockchain Bunker Fantasy Football League run by Green Day Profits. And I don't know if you want me to share how we're doing so far this week, Red, or today at least. I can share that on screen.
Yeah, I just pulled ahead of Billy, 149 to 131.
Oh, so, you're playing Billy this week.
Yeah, I'm playing Billy.
Yeah,
he was beating my butt there for a little while.
Looks like you're projected to, take a little bit of a win. It says you were scraping over at 96.12, but I guess your points have jumped, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
You got that projection to win?
Yeah. Well, so I see you're up on Lifer. I see you're beating Lifer right now.
I'm beating Lifer. Lifer's at the bottom of the barrel of the league, and I don't think he's as attentive to the team. He has one player that was out, so he had a goose egg on that one player. So, so fortunately, my lower scoring players aren't affected. And it looks like I've got that win in the bag, which I'll take because I've had a couple losses in a row. And then in Green Day Profits and Take a Step Back, they're fighting for those spots. I mean, I think it's the top 8, right, that go into the playoffs, or maybe the top 10. I think it's the top 8. So, our league is highly, 50 and below as far as most of the league, as far as its rankings and win-loss. So every win is going to help the last couple weeks. So good luck, Green Day Profits. I'm going to, hopefully you'll be able to pull out that win for yourself. And then Farmer has lost 2 in the last few weeks, although he's projected to win against Steve-O today. And then, like you said, you and Cryptobilly are battling it out. We'll see how that comes to the end. French Toaster, I'm hoping that you can pull out a win. French Toaster, nothing against Tradefly. I love you, Tradefly, but, French Toaster is my favorite kind of toast. I'm sure it's your favorite kind of toast. Plus, he's in the audience. You got to cheer for the guy who's in the audience. And then Victorious Secret, which is Kelly Kellum, looks like he might have another win. He's pulled out a few wins in the last few weeks. He's tied with me so far, so I gotta make sure I have an edge out on Kelly Kellum there. It looks like him and LBC. It's still not decided yet. It's pretty close too. So, and Jimmy Jim, I don't know if we want to go into. Do you think we have another time for another topic, gentlemen? We had one more topic, I think, on the docket today, but we've talked a little bit about Saylor already. Or do you want to just go into to let Jimmy Jim have the floor a little bit?
Jimmy Jim, final thoughts.
Jimmy Jim, are you ready for your final thoughts, my brother? Let me see if I can pull up that background. Jimmy Jim, here we go. All right, Jimmy Jim, the floor is yours. The mic's on. I'll need it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty quiet week in the card world. I mean, we only went one day this week. We went Thursday, but it was actually a really, really good night. We had some good breaks. And then we picked up, we actually took a picture and sent it in to Panini. We pulled this, let's see if I can grab this thing. We pulled this thing.
Squirrel Shine Bob's trying to figure out if a panini is something he can eat right now, I think.
That's just the brand of cards.
Jack Vetch. Huh?
Oh,
Okay.
wow. It's an auto.
It's a nice
what's
Raiders card
interesting-
right there.
Note the guy's name. Note the guy's team. Well, we got a W.
Wow. Oh, is
Oh.
that that's an
Is
error
that an
card.
error?
So yeah, that was
Interesting.
kind of interesting.
Interesting.
That was out of first off the line Phoenix pack of football cards that we opened. Then we pulled a really cool. This one was actually pretty cool. You got 3 Mem, Rand Tarkington, Dart, and Eli all on one card. That was pretty cool.
Well,
Then
that's
we
pretty
did get
cool.
a little out of the same box. That one's pretty nice. It's actually where is the number? I thought that one was numbered.
237.
Message
I
on
don't
the
see
front.
something of something. I don't see it there just yet. But
Those cards look a little
Maybe
thicker
that one
to
isn't
me,
numbered.
too.
No, that one's not numbered.
and you've been pulling a lot more crypto cards lately, or at least the show that I tuned in on Thursday. I don't know if it was this past Thursday or the one before, but
Yeah,
I need
we
to hook up with you about that Satoshi card.
yeah, I think we still actually I think he pulled it aside for you. I think it's
Yeah. There's a yellow taxi cab.
yeah,
Thought that was
here
pretty
it
cool.
is. You put your name on it.
And I love it. Let's see if we can zoom, Jimmy. Little yellow taxi cab Satoshi card. I'm pretty stoked about that.
Blair. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Oh, we can bring brief.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
So
Dave
that's why
Digital's
we've
back. He brought up the farts to stage. Well, and thanks, Jimmy. I saw your message earlier about the graphics card, so appreciate it. We'll touch base. But what else do we have, team? Do we want to go over the last topic? Do we want to do a little bit of a round the horn here to see what's going on?
I mean,
Or
that's
we wanna-
Jimmy Jim's final thoughts. That's it. Show's over.
Show's over.
I got something for you guys real quick.
All right. We'll let Red go a little quick.
So
Dave-
on
Dave's like,
Friday,
"Train
on Friday, I did a short on Telcoin. So the reason why I did the short was because Telcoin had some very interesting news. It is the first crypto in our ecosystem that is now backed by a bank. Backed by a bank. Anyways, it says Telcoin becomes America's first fully regulated digital asset bank. On November 12, 2025, Nebraska granted final charter approval to Telcoin Digital Asset Bank, the first U.S. explicitly authorized to issue on-chain stablecoins, accept crypto deposits, and connect directly to DeFi while accessing Fed payment rails. I think it's a pretty big deal. You guys, it's an altcoin, and but for me, it's a pretty big deal. We haven't had any regulation like this ever. So this is the first. They're a first mover in the ecosystem, and their price skyrocketed 130%. Hours on the news. It says right here, and they were also able to raise $25 million in a funding round to meet capital requirements and launch the bank. Money now fully validated by charter approval, signaling strong institutional confidence. This charter, enabled by Nebraska's 2021 Financial Innovation Act, which Telcoin helped draft, lets community banks nationwide plug into blockchain services, potentially disrupting the $200 billion plus stablecoin market and accelerating mainstream crypto adoption. I thought that was humongous, but yeah, so I put out a short on it. You guys can look on the Billy Goat Tales, the shorts in there, and go ahead and check that out. Give it a like if you like it. If you don't like it, let us know.
Hey, friends, quick invite. Come hang with us all week. Hashtag Givers Gain Style. Saturday morning, simple terms on YouTube, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 Central. Start smart, keep it simple. Sunday evening, Billy Goat Tales live stream on YouTube, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central. Bring your questions. Tuesday night, BGT Space on X, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Jump in and speak.
Perks this week, Patreon code 17722 gets you 90% off your first month, and the family tier has 3 months free via the redeem link.
Saturday morning, Sunday evening, Tuesday night, come hang with us across YouTube and X. Bring a friend, bring your questions, and let us practice hashtag Givers Gain.
Well, that's an excellent wrap up, Dave. I'm glad you did that. I was going to start talking through those things, but of course, you got us some awesome digital assets. Well, thank you all for joining us here on Billy Goat Tales from Cryptobilly and the team, Jimbo. And thank you, DDT, for joining us yet again. A wonderful TA. We appreciate you. All right, fam. Adios. We'll see you next time. See you Tuesday.